Hare
One Hare Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Padmanamsa Prirajagacharya Ashtatasha Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Gauta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kun Radha Kun Yumi Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mathura Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Jalasi Devi ki jai, Rangamai ki jai, Yamunamai ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Radha Hiranyakashi Vacha. Hiranyakashi Vacha. Shila Sankana Kalaye. Idoli Shiva Paratoli Shiva. Yato Yato Yamitato Nishima. Yato Yato Yamitato Nishima. Hare Nishimo Hare Nishimo. Hare Nishimo Hare Nishimo. Krishna Nishara Namavade. Krishna Nishara Namavade. Tata Tata Hare Nata. Amra Krishna. Salita Iranyakashi.
Okay, continuing reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. We will begin with the introduction on page 1. Mangalacharya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamaya Dati Swapadantikam Vanteham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadhana Bhagavatam Vitantam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Bhargani Hari Priye Vanchaka Purvyascha Vipasanyubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srimad Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai. So, where did we leave off? This is at chapter 10, text 16. It's got to be somewhere around there, I believe. Nobody knows, I'm just going to start there.
Yeah.
So, open to being corrected, but
Hanumanji.
what?
Whoa.
Mountain?
Hanuman, yeah, like Hanumanji. Alright. You know Hanuman?
Okay, we'll begin with chapter 10, text 6.
Or 16?
Oh, 16, sorry. Text, chapter 10, the opulence of the absolute Vibhuti Yoga. Text 16. Bhaktamahasya Shrishena Divyayatma Vibhutaya Yabir Vibhutibir Lokam Imanstam Vyapatishtasthi. Please tell me in detail of your divine powers by which you pervade all these worlds and abide in them. Text 17. Gatam vidyamaham yogims tam sada parichintayan keshu chabhaveshu chintyosi bhagavanmaya. How should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplated, O blessed Lord? 18. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuya kathaya kriptehi shinvado nasti me pratam. Tell me again in detail, O Janardana, of your mighty potencies and glories, for I never tire of hearing your ambrosial words. 19. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Antate Katayashyami Divyahyatna Vibhutaya Padhanyata Kuru Shreshta Nastasito Vistarasya Me. Blessed Lord said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna. My opulence is limitless. Text 20. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Buddha Shayastita Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Buddhanam Antam Eva Cha. I am the Self, O Gudakesha, seated in the hearts of all creatures. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Text 21. Adityanamam Vishnur Jyotisham Ravir Amshuman Marichir Marudhan Asmi Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. Of the Adityas I am Vishnu, of lights I am the radiant sun. I am the Rishi of the Maruts, and among the stars I am the moon. 22. Vedanam Samavedosmi Devanam Asmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanam Asmi Chaitana. Of the Vedas I am the Samaveda, of the demigods I am Indra, of the senses I am the mind, and in living beings I am the living force. Knowledge. Text 23. Mudranam Sankarashchasmi Vitesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasurnam Pavakashchasmi Merushikari Namaham. Of all the Rudras I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru. Verse 24. Parodhasam cha mukyam mam piti partha prihaspatim senani namaham skanda sarasam asmi sagaraha. Of priest Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brihaspati, the Lord of devotion. Of generals, I am Skanda, the Lord of war, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. 625. Maharshinam Riguraham Ivam Asmi Kam Aksharam Yugyanam Japayat Yosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. Of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Text 26. Ashvatasarva vrikshanam divarshinam chanaradaha gandharvanam chitravranta siddhanam kapilam. Of all trees, I am the holy fig tree, and among sages and demigods, I am Narada. Of the singers of the gods, Gandharvas, I am Chitravrata, and among perfected beings, I am the sage, Kapila. So, we'll go back to text 16. Read the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, B.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please tell me in detail of your divine powers by which you pervade all these worlds and abide in them. Purport. In this verse it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have through all these agencies, and he has understood Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. In this verse it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have through all these agencies, and he has understood Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him there is no doubt, yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature so that in the future people will understand, especially the impersonalist, how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. So, Srila Prabhupada often makes the point that, not just in this particular question, but in general, Arjuna is not a conditioned soul such as us. He's one of the Lord's eternal associates, and he is taking on this role merely for our benefit. So he's putting himself in that position of being bewildered like a conditioned soul, so that persons like us, jivas like us, who are covered with the Lord of all material nature, so for the benefits of living entities like us, who are covered by the Lord of all material nature, so that we can relate to Arjuna's situation. So we heard, I don't know who was reading or when we were reading, but I guess the last day was on Friday. We were reading chapter 10. So at the beginning of chapter 10, Krishna really definitively describes his position as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Famous shloka, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. I'm the master of everything.
Everything was so me.
Everything comes from me, Matam Param. What is it?
Can you tell the starting program?
Mata Saram Vartate.
Timatyami Pravartana. Pachati.
Trying to break it down line by line. Difficult. Prabhupada is expert at this. But anyways, Krishna is saying that he is the source of everything. Everything emanates from him, and those who are intelligent actually take to worship him. So, naturally, Arjuna wants to understand more. So here in this shloka, he's asking, please tell me in detail of your divine powers by which you pervade all these worlds and abide in them. Krishna is saying that he's the master of all, he's the source of all, and Arjuna is asking, how is that? Basically, how can I see that? And then there was a very nice verse, what was it? Text 19, where Krishna says, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So we hear of an Antashesh who has thousands of hoods, thousands of mounts, and he's always glorifying the Lord, but he comes to no end. Always glorifying him more and more. So the Lord is limited. And this is very nice because we can find ourselves in a situation, and if we think that somehow or other Krishna consciousness has become stale, scriptures have become stale, the holy name has become stale, association with devotees has become stale, it's not the problem of the Lord who is unlimited, infinite, all-pervading, omniscient, omnipresent, all these great grand words applied to him, because and all due respect, these words are just even scratching the surface as something that we can't perceive with our limited consciousness. But the point is, if we've reached a point where these things seem stale, it's not the problem with the process of devotional service, it's not the problem with the Lord, it's our problem. Somehow due to our mundane consciousness, due to our anarthas, to our offenses, we lose taste of Krishna consciousness. And this is natural as a conditioned soul. As a sadhaka was meant to practice devotional service. Practice. So, naturally, when somebody's practicing a new skill or a new trait, they reach difficulties, struggles. No matter what they're doing. Athletes, singers, scholars, always struggles, but all those struggles build resilience. There's a nice saying that, what's the difference between a novice or a neophyte in our terms and a master? The master's tried and failed more times than the novice has even tried. So that's can be applied for souls who are conditioned to the material energy. But as we know, Krishna deliberately sends some of his personal representatives to play the part of conditioned souls to, just like Arjuna, allow us to connect with them and hear them and take heed of the Lord's message. But the point is that we have to practice, and we may get the hang of the whole Krishna conscious thing. Okay, don't give so much thought and energy to my thoughts and my mind. Just chant Hare Krishna, Hare, divert my energy back to somewhere productive. Let me not have a lapse in my awareness. We go to do something productive and then we sit down and then our mind just wanders away, and next thing you know, thinking about absurd things that lead our consciousness away. I was talking about this on Sunday that, Krishna, he describes that just one of our senses, just uncontrolled, it's just carried away our intelligence. He uses the analogy like a boat swept away in water, which is nice. The boat has no footing, no holding, it's just on the water, it's subject to wherever the wind takes it. So similarly, uncontrolled senses, they're just taking us for a ride. So we have to practice, and bring the mind back. We have to be detached from our thoughts, from our desires, from the material energy, and bring our mind back to thinking about Krishna, thinking about serving Krishna, thinking about the scriptures, thinking about the association of devotees, these favorable things. And in doing that, we may fail. Surely I can say we will fail. So, this can be very trying on our consciousness because we're trying so hard to be free from our sufferings and misery and take to serving Krishna. But still, time and time again, we hit roadblocks and difficulties. But these are actually, they can be blessings of Krishna if we respond in a proper way, because it really humbles us to be truly humble before Krishna, before Guru. That I actually, I can't do it on my own. I can't do it on my own. I need help. I need mercy. I need blessings. So many sinful activities we commit, so many mistakes we commit, so many aparadhs we commit knowingly and unknowingly. So we can carry all those things in our consciousness and push it to the side and kind of shrug it away like it's not a big deal and carry on. And okay, we can make a little advancement that way, but to really be real and really be honest that, one can't even see on their own, because the false ego is actually so powerful, so subtle, that one can't even see one's own flaws, one see how insignificant one actually is. But by Krishna's grace of removing the false ego more and more, and we become more humbled because we see that, oh, actually I'm powerless. Powerless. I can't control hardly anything. I'm dependent upon so many external factors just to live. Dependent upon people to grow crops and food and gas to ship these things and electricity to provide light and heat, and dependent upon water. So many things that we take for granted that we're just completely dependent upon. But still we think, oh, I can do it on my own, I'm figured out. These are just material things. What to speak of, controlling our mind and senses, actual difficult task. So, Arjuna is asking Krishna to elaborate on his opulences in this material world. So, this word is vibhuti yoga, and in this shloka we read, this word actually comes up twice, vibhuti. This is vibhutaya and vibhutihi, opulences. So then, the next text, Arjuna says, how should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplated, O blessed Lord? So this is why Krishna speaks this, is to give Arjuna just a mere example, a fraction of his greatness that can be seen, so that the devotee can traverse the world and see Krishna in everything. And what does Krishna say about the devotee who sees him in everything?
Everything was in Krishna.
Krishna. That's true, what? Krishna says, for the devotee who always sees me in everything, I am never lost to him, and he is never lost to me. So, recently we were talking about tolerance, the difference between tolerating as in the spirit of a kshatriya, tolerating in the spirit of a brahmana. So, tell a little story, I suppose. I heard from my Guru Maharaj, he's sharing a pastime from the Mahabharata, which Karna, I'll probably butcher parts, but try my best. So, the issue is when one starts talking about the Mahabharata, you gotta go back and explain the story and explain how that came to be, so then you end up spending an hour talking about it. So, I'm also not so knowledgeable, but anyways, Karna was born as Kunti's illegitimate son because she was receiving this mantra that she could call any demigod to her presence to bear a child, and she wanted to test it out, and she called the sun god. So the sun god came and impregnated Kunti, and she was still able to maintain her chastity, you could say, so she could still get married later, but she had this child, and it'd be a big red flag. It's against the culture that she's just having a child and no husband. So she gave birth to this child and sent it down a river, and it was picked up by some other family. And the point is that she was born of a kshatriya family, and when she gave birth to Karna and sent him down, then he was adopted by, I forget what, a lesser class family in Vaishya, I'm not sure. Anyways, it wasn't a Kshatriya. So Karna was studying under Parashurama how to fight. It's his guru. And Parashurama, as hopefully we all know, is the Lord incarnated to kill all the Kshatriyas. So he was very against Kshatriyas and he took a vow to never teach a Kshatriya. So one day Karna and Parashuram were sitting and Parashuram was feeling tired, so he laid his head down to rest and his head was on the lap of Karna. And Karna's thinking, oh nice, Guru Maharaj is taking rest, he's using me as a pillow, I'm just going to sit here and soak it in, this is nice, I'll do my service. And then Indra, who often exhibits some kind of envy in different ways, for different reasons, he manifested himself as this insect that had a big drill, big teeth, that could bore holes. So he flew on the leg of Karna and he started drilling a hole into his leg. And Karna's like, oh my God. Sometimes I have an itch, doing like the arati or doing kirtan. And it's like, I don't want to ruin the momentum that we're building in the kirtan by stopping. I shouldn't stop with the instruments, we should keep it going. I shouldn't stop chanting, we should keep going because it's for the pleasure of the Lord, so let me tolerate a little bit of inconvenience. So maybe I had one little experience, but he had this big bug climbing on him, drilling a hole into him, and there's blood coming out, he's bleeding. And he's like, but Guru Maharaj is in my lap, I can't disturb him. I must tolerate. And this bug is drilling a big hole, and he's tolerating all the pain. So not to disturb Parashuram. So Parashuram eventually awakes and he sees all this blood and he sees this situation and he's like, what the? It's only one person who could tolerate such a thing. Kshatriya! You are a Kshatriya! And then he cursed him actually so that he couldn't, I forget the exact curse, but I think it was like he couldn't use anything that he was taught when he needed the most.
Forget it.
Yeah, so. Point being is, like Guru Maharaj shared this story in the connection that you can tolerate like a Kshatriya, meaning all day long facing so many disturbances, so many desires, so many hankerings. It's like, yes, I must tolerate. I have to tolerate this. But we're not so strong, and it's just eating away in our mind, eating away in our consciousness, because we're just intolerant consciousness. But to tolerate like a Brahmana means to tolerate by really connecting to transcendental knowledge, to really understanding the situation of life that we're in from a bigger picture, zooming out and seeing not through the eyes of our false ego, but seeing through the eyes of the scripture. So this is not so easy all the time, but it does take practice. And Krishna says that in the end of the third chapter, let's see if we can pull it up, where Krishna is talking about Arjuna asked why people do sinful activities even though they know it's not good. So somehow we come into Krishna consciousness, we're practicing Krishna consciousness, practicing to bring the mind on Krishna, and like I mentioned, sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we have little fall downs. Why do we do these things even though we know it's not good? See, before we didn't know certain things were not good, but now we're aware. And we're trying, but still we may slip up. And Krishna says in a very famous shloka, what is it? Kama esha, krodha esha, rajaguna samudbhava, mahashno mahapatma, vidyanam yavairanam, is lust only, due to the contact of the mode of passion. So, due to us being compelled by the lower modes of material nature, we have this insatiable lust. So then the rest of that chapter at the end, Krishna is describing that lust and what one must do. Where it says, in the beginning, very beginning, one must control this symbol of sin by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge. So we must destroy lust by regulating the senses. We have to associate with the mode of goodness. And then the last verse of the chapter, text 43, says this: knowing oneself to be transcendental to material senses, mind and intelligence, one should control the lower self by the higher self, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. So we must control the lower nature by the higher nature, by spiritual strength. We need spiritual strength. This is the importance of sadhana, a regular practice. And I was thinking recently, I said it somewhere, but anyways, sadhana is such a nice thing, because without that we have nothing to measure ourselves. Because you can go and distribute books and you meet so many people and they say, yeah, I'm spiritual, or I practice this religion and I follow this religion. We had one traveling preacher come through a couple of years ago, and he said often he meets people, they profess that they're a different faith, and he said, oh, that's awesome, what's your practice? I meet people and they say, oh, I'm Christian, I don't need the book. Oh, that's great, what's your practice? What do you actually do? And most of the times, they don't have anything to say. Because they don't do a practice, they don't do something. So my point is that sadhana is very special because it gives us something to measure ourselves. So it's like, okay, I'm going to come to Mongol Arati every day, I'm going to wake up. Okay, did I wake up, every day? Was I late? Was I early? Something to measure ourselves to see where we're at. Okay, we're going to chant 16 rounds. Was I chanting 16 rounds attentively? Did it take me till 11 o'clock to chant 16 rounds? So it's like there's something to gauge where we're at. So then we can refine our consciousness more and more, and our attitude and our mood, our devotion, everything that we're bringing to the table. Because you go to Mongol Arati every day and you see people come visit the temple for a short period of time, and they say, yeah, okay, Mongol Arati, it's so nice. We're gathering to chant. Try to do it every single day for the rest of your life, and then see how your consciousness is. You have to be really real. You have to be aware. You have to, shift your consciousness to the right place, to the right dimension. Otherwise, you can do it every day, but you can be completely spaced out. Everybody's chanting Hare Krishna, and you're here, and you're just like looking over in the corner, and you see a bug, and just looking around, just looking for some escape from the activity you're doing, but to really connect with what we're doing. That is the purpose of sadhana, to really connect, to go deep. So sadhana is there to have this regular practice, to really gauge where we're at and refine our consciousness, and of course practice. And we slip, we fall, we get up, we do it again. We slip, we fall, get up, we do it again. As long as we have that fixed determination that Krishna is my maintainer, Krishna is the Lord, He is everything, and Krishna is there to protect us and guide us, as He says, repeatedly in the Bhagavad Gita. He says He's within the heart of all living entities, destroying the ignorance of those sincere souls who are trying to come back to Him. In the last chapter we read, there's a famous verse, Abhi Shed Siddharacharo, that even if one commits the most abominable activity, as long as he's situated in his conviction, then he's to be considered saintly. So, I guess overall the point that can be extracted from the words I'm speaking is that we need that determination that this is it.
Dridhavrita.
Huh?
Dridhavrita. Dridhavrita.
Yeah, we have to have this determination, unshakable determination, and that doesn't come cheap. Does not come cheap. a shooting star. You know, one day we're doing kirtan and it's like yelling at the top of my lungs and you know it's the greatest thing ever, and then the next day I'm just left town, nobody knows where I even went. So yeah, we have to practice, we have to pick ourselves up time and time again. And it's interesting because we may have so many mistakes and so many aparadhas we commit, but if we continue to commit so many aparadhas and take it cheaply, and you know, we don't turn to Krishna and depend upon Him, then this just is like rust covering our heart. Heart becomes corroded, we become jaded, we become indifferent, no enthusiasm. It's very easy to happen, but when we make these mistakes and fall and whatever happens, and we turn to Krishna and really pray to Krishna and beg Him, you know, to pick us up, then we go, and this humbles us because we fall, we build ourselves up, we fall. So you realize that, okay, if I just stay focused 100% on Krishna and depend upon Him, then I won't have any problems. So let me just do that. I'm tired of suffering. But until that moment comes, then we'll be still subjected to the dictates of the modes of material nature in our mind. So we have to really explore our consciousness to see which impurities are there, side by side with the practice of devotional service and chanting Hare Krishna. Otherwise I can chant Hare Krishna for years and years and years, but still maintain just bad habits, clearly bad habits. There's 26 qualities of a devotee that's given. I was reading in the Bhagavatam, the 11th canto, the other day. Krishna describes 28 qualities to devotees. A few places there's these lists of qualities. So, you know, they may differ a little bit, but it's pretty straightforward that, you know, a devotee should naturally develop these qualities. And if we're not developing these qualities, then, sorry to say, then we're not taking to the process properly. So, some of us may be new, some of us may be been around more of a while, but in a larger sense, beyond this bodily conscious, we can't see who's been practicing devotional service for how long. You could be practicing for 10 lifetimes, you could be practicing for 2, 100, million, 1. So we can't see, so we can't be subjected to this bodily conscious. But we just have to surrender to Krishna's will Some, it might seem to favor a little bit more because the child's quote-unquote nice child that cooperates nicely with the parents. But mom is there for them all. But what pleases the parents most of all, more than, at least from what I've heard and can understand with my perspective, although I'm not a parent, but what they want most, I mean I've heard from my own parents, they want their children to get along together. That's most special to them. So Krishna is no different than this. He wants us all to get along. And simply put, there's only one reason why different devotees would not get along. It's only due to the false ego. So the false ego is not real, it's not really us, this is just a shell that we carry. It's keeping us in illusion, and it actually burns us, it hurts us more and more. Can't force people to like me, no matter how hard I try. I'm not God, I'm not all attractive. Therefore, to really please the Vaishnavas, you have to observe, who they are and what they like and how to treat them. And the interesting thing is, maybe you find yourself as a bunch of neophyte sadhakas practicing, so that means we're more conditioned to our false ego, but nonetheless, Vaishnava, so that's also something to take into consideration. Okay, with the spiritual master, I approach with all reverence, I bow down, I fold my hands, and I do this and I do that, but say there's like a brand new bhakta who's been here for 2 weeks and he knows nothing of Vaishnava culture, and I act all these ways, and he might not even be able to understand what I'm doing, what I'm saying, how I'm acting, and it just disturbs him even further. So to see where somebody's at, and approach them and connect with them on that level, it's a very, very nice thing. It's not that it's just a sugar-coating thing, that there's one way to act and then that's it. Because really, devotional service, it's not about what we're offering externally, it's about what we're giving internally. So on Sunday I was mentioning that everything comes from Krishna, so what do we have to offer Krishna? We have nothing to offer Krishna. Everything, my mind, my intelligence that I hold so dear, that I think is me, that I think I can use that to take things and offer to Krishna, that's actually Krishna's too. Like, I have nothing to offer Krishna. Everything is Krishna's, so all I can take is whatever Krishna gives and offer back to him. But the reason why I say this is that train of thought. Externally, we offer things to him because that's all there is. So point being is that external offering is largely irrelevant. It's all about the internal state of consciousness, because that's what Krishna really wants to see. So, even amongst the Vaishnavas, I may act all polite and act this way and that way, but internally I'm filled with pride, I'm filled with envy, I'm filled with jealousy, filled with anger and deceit, duplicity. So, adopting Vaishnava etiquette and behavior is very nice. It will really help us subdue our false ego and practice to cultivate the right mood, but if we're doing things very external and the internal consciousness isn't there, yeah, it may rub some feathers the wrong way, as they say. So, we have to really check our consciousness. Because, Goswami in this past time he shared, he wasn't even aware that he committed this offense, and then, he felt tormented by it, and he really wanted to go beg for forgiveness, which, as I've heard it, he's a pure devotee, he can't even make an offense. But still, just to uphold Vaishnava etiquette and his compassion towards another living entity, that's how he felt. So in the name of upholding Vaishnava etiquette, we can still do this from a superiority, like position or complex. Like, yeah, I've accepted the right means and I've accepted the right way, and here's, boom, take my dandavats, Whereas somebody could approach just like in a heartfelt way, but seemingly from a conditioned way of speech and talking, but it's really sincere. So the living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. They have the same qualities of Krishna, but in small, very small proportions. So just like Krishna sees our sincerity of heart in our service, others can also perceive that. So, yeah, it's a few words. I don't know if I answered directly or talked about directly what you wanted to hear, but that's just a few thoughts on that. I guess we talked about that in relation to Krishna. Yeah, Krishna's pleased when we get along, and the more I can subdue my false ego, then I won't be so worried about myself. I put others in front of myself. I'd be willing to sacrifice whatever, my name, my fame, my honor, I made a mistake to this devotee. This devotee offended me. Clearly, it's like more on his side of the court, but still I go and offer my obeisances and offer, but I'm sorry. But not out of a fake way because I'm just trying to fix the problem. No, because the Vaishnava really feels that, oh man, if our relationship didn't sound, it's because something I did. I wasn't loving enough to prevent that from happening. So it's not born out of some kind of fake thing, it's sincere what it takes. Being free from the false ego. Because this is the problem with all of our everything in the material world, why everybody butts heads. False ego. So, some thoughts? Anything else?
That loving service attitude. Comes as a result from seeing everyone as a servant of Krishna, right? From actually seeing that my family is much bigger than the confines of what I think. I think I have a mother and a father and a couple sisters, and I think that's the extent of it. And these limiting factors, these material designations that we impose upon our consciousness, keep everyone else at arm's length and keep us from really coming into loving exchanges with them. So how can we take steps in that direction to facilitate these ways in a real way that's genuine and sincere, and that's not, makeshift or artificial?
There's only one way. Because once free from the false ego, then what's the true ego? I'm a servant of Krishna. So if you're free from your false ego, then you're servant of Krishna. So then what do? Are we going to look at each other and see each other's problems and faults? No, we're both going to turn our heads towards Krishna. But the false ego is very, very, very subtle. We may say, oh, I am looking towards Krishna, and he's also looking towards Krishna, but subtly, we have envy and pride and arrogance. It's competitive nature. Yeah, Maharaj would like to say something. It would be nice.
Thank you.
Okay, Maharaj, we can hear you now.
I'll make a short comment. We want to please Krishna and the spiritual master. And so we don't want to do anything detrimental for others. We want to help them come and know Krishna and get the bliss of pleasing the spiritual master.
I think we have to put it on this speaker.
Oh, that's the wrong one. I think you have to say what I said.
We just had the speaker on the microphone on the wrong speaker.
It's over now.
Okay. Okay. So Maharaj is done giving his comment.
Can't do it tonight.
Oh, okay. We can't do it tonight.
And just put service and guru into the middle, and then those who are also doing that will come together. And those who aren't doing that, then we'll lead in little different ways, and that's okay. There's millions of devotees. If you're living in Vrindavan, there's devotees over there serving Krishna. You can't be best friends with every devotee in Vrindavan. Naturally, there's different ways of being. Even in the spiritual world, there's people who are both serving Krishna, but they're not really friends. But the interest is still the same, to serve and please Krishna. But as we purify our false ego, then naturally it's easier to come together. So, false ego is this real enemy. So, we'll end here. Gita as it is, Ki Jai Shri Krishna, Ki Jai Shri Krishna, Ki Jai Shri Krishna.